Hi, my name is Mateusz and I am in IT industry, mobile app development industry since 2017, so quite a few years already. And I remember the times when Android was all about Java, XML layouts, RX Java, I don't know what's more, but it was quite a few years already. And today the Android, the mobile app industry, libraries, architecture, everything has changed. But in today's video, I'd like to talk about how large language models have changed the day-to-day life, day-to-day job for many mobile app developers, including me. So stay tuned and let's get going. Software engineering process has many steps, and over the last few years, each step evolved, changed in a bit different way. So the things that we used to do 5-10 years ago, today in current world, current situation, look way different. And today I would like to talk about few things that are maybe not so obvious, not so popular, but I would like to explain and talk about how I use power of large language models, LLMs, in my professional life. And of course, it's not about coding itself. Okay, but let's start with quite obvious things. So yes, I use LLMs to write code, but it's quite an obvious way, maybe the simplest way to do it, especially with vibe coding approach that was quite popular a few months ago, but today I think not so many people are using it because in my opinion, vibe coding is quite good if you don't care about software quality. You don't want to really know what's going on in the code itself, but you want to maybe do something really quickly and just verify if that's maybe feasible. But in long-term projects, I think that this approach is a terrible way to create software, and we definitely need to find another way how to do it. And in my case, it's spec-driven development. I use it. I will talk about it in future videos, so hit subscribe if you don't want to miss it. But in today's video, I would like to talk about a few other things that are way simpler, way easier thanks to LLMs. First thing, which is tasks management. I think that no matter what software you use, whether it's Jira, Linear, or any other software, it's really sometimes tedious and difficult to keep track all of those tasks, all of those task scopes and everything. And what I found is that LLMs are really helpful in that area, at least for me and in my team. So basically, I rarely create tickets manually right now. So I use LLMs to create tickets, to define scope of each ticket, so what I want to do within it and what I don't want to do within that ticket. So LLMs are really helpful if you want to discuss things, analyze pros and cons of different approaches, and later on you can come up with a specific idea, and you can just also use LLM to use specific template of each ticket and provide much more deeper and much more dive context around each ticket. So it's both helpful for other people in the team, but also it's really crucial to have that additional context, everything for LLMs in future steps. So that's number one. Second thing, I think it's quite related to tickets and basically even one step before actually creating real software, real production code, is creating proof of concepts and spikes around some specific solution, whether it's feasible, whether it's possible to do in specific environment, in specific situation. So thanks to LLMs, this phase is way more simpler and way more faster, because you can use LLMs to just analyze few different even approaches, few different solutions, and just verify each one step by step, and you can, after each step, you can provide even more context, just justify one solution, or if it seems not feasible to do so. What I found is just verifying ideas, verifying solutions, making sure that the way, the approach you're gonna use for production code is way more verified, testable. I feel I have way more confidence about the solution that we're gonna use because of this additional step that I was able to quickly verify another approaches if it's something, for example, new, and I don't have any idea from top of my head, so that's definitely way easier thanks to LLMs. Third item. Let's assume that we have already implemented the ticket, we've done it. So what else can we do? What else can we do is of course to unit test things. And I think that thanks to LLMs right now, I am able to write way more unit tests than before because it's just easier and faster to do it. But what's quite important is that you need to verify and make sure, and of course it's also applicable to real code, but with unit tests it's also quite important. So you need to make sure that the unit tests your LLM is writing, they are giving real coverage and they are giving real value. So you need to make sure that you are testing specific things that you want to test and not just some silly unit tests that don't give real value, to be honest. So after that, we are going to step number 4, which is self-code review. So thanks to LLMs, I am able to run additional round of code review before I even create a pull request with my own code. So what I'm doing right now is basically trying to code review to run sub-agents to code review my code from few different perspectives, from few different aspects, and just I want to make sure that the code I ship is really tested and there are no any loopholes, any issues, any bugs. So thanks to that, I am able to just review the code from other perspectives without even before other teammates look at my code. Point number 5, which is, I need to take a look at my notes, is basically documentation and artifact creation. So LLMs make that really easy and really helpful. So even if you run multiple POCs, multiple spikes, and you are using spec-driven development and you have everything you need in, for example, Markdown files inside your project, you are able to really easily prepare some file summary analysis and everything. So it's way more easy to also visualize stuff, visualize your findings and showcase it to the client, etc. So that's really helpful and I find it really useful, and I basically use it every day, all the time. So I really recommend that, to rethink your approach and how you can use LLMs in different way, not only coding. Point 6, as I already said, I am in mobile app development industry. I am senior Android engineer and specialize in Android. However, thanks to LLMs, it's way easy for me to jump into iOS code base, into Swift, and just implement some small changes, small requirements on both platforms at the same time. Even before it was possible, but right now with LLMs it's way easier because you don't need to know so many deep details about another programming languages, etc. But of course this code will need to be reviewed by iOS teammates, but it's way easier for me to do changes on another platform. So I really enjoy that. I'm not really only focused about my platform, but I'm capable of shipping some small things as well on another platform. And the last point number 7, I think, is not really about coding itself, but it's also touching the different point about documentation, analysis, etc. But it's about bugs and issues investigation. So for example, in my current project, I am using Sentry, and I use Sentry MCP to analyze issues. And it's way easier to use that MCP connection alongside together with actually taking a look at Sentry myself, but it's way easier to just analyze the issues, trying to find the root cause, what's going on, how many people are affected, what type of devices are affected, etc, etc. So thanks to the LLMs, it's way easier to do. Definitely boosts my confidence about finding the root cause, what basically it's happening in the app, etc. So connected with other points, for example, creating artifacts, etc., you can have a real good workflow of issues analysis. Later on you can just create an artifacts, etc. So I think it's really crucial to think about how you can use LLMs to improve your overall software engineering skills, not only vibe coding, but also doing some other stuff that are really important in your day-to-day job. Okay, and the last point number 8, I think it's quite difficult to say and maybe difficult to really optimize with LLMs, skip or replace even. And what I mean is QA process. So currently in my current project, I don't have any QA engineer in my team, so I am responsible for QAing my code as well. And what I found is I'm able to use LLMs in a bit different way. So it's not really possible, I think, right now to just ask LLM to run Android application emulator, etc. However, I will definitely would like to do something like that. But you can use it in a bit different way. So for example, I use LLMs to define step-by-step QA process of specific task. So I am basically doing QA process together with LLM. LLM can also read logcat through ADB. LLM can also check some processes, etc, etc. So together with my manual clicking in the app and with my additional context and observations, we can have just a step-by-step QA process, and we can also verify if everything works as expected, take notes, etc, etc. And later on, going back to another point again, we can create artifacts, we can create additional documentation that will be shipped together with either code or it will be part of the ticket. This is definitely another helpful point, how you can use LLMs to improve your day-to-day software engineering job. Okay, 8 points if I counted them correctly, and that's it for today. And yeah, to sum up, this video was a high-level overview of how you can use LLMs to improve your software engineering work, and maybe not really directly about coding, but how you can use LLMs to around coding and in different aspects of your day-to-day job. And I hope you find it useful. I really recommend to give it a try, test at least 1 or 2 things, and think what are you doing constantly and how you can use LLMs to improve that process. And yeah, today's video was really tool agnostic. I only talked about it in high level, but in the future I would like to deep dive in some specific tool. And if you don't want to miss it, just hit subscribe. And if you have any questions, any ideas, just add a comment and I'm happy to answer and reply. So I think that's it. Let me check. Yeah, that's it. So thanks guys. Have a good day. Have a good week. Bye bye. See you in the next video.